G'day, how's it going, Paul?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. We have a guest on today.
We do. Would you like to introduce?
Yes.
There we go. You
I get
take my notes.
I get the big iPad today. Okay. So Dan Godwin from All Data and Communications. How's it going, man?
Good, boys. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. So he has been in business for
Since 2008.
2008. So how long is that? I'm not good at math. 12 years. Yes.
12-ish, 13.
Yeah. And he does a whole range of awesome data, communications,
Video, spy cameras.
Yeah. Yeah, all that kind of fun stuff.
I heard a story about a video camera that you've produced that can zoom in and almost, watch a duck fart in a pond, a mile
Really?
away or something.
Not
Is that true?
We've produced, but we've installed.
You've installed? There we go.
Jesus.
Maybe we shouldn't have mentioned that story.
Yeah.
So Dan, you started up All Data, and you got into the data game. Obviously, you were in data and communications before you started this up, and you felt the urge. You know what? Want to do this right?
Yep.
Do it my way.
Yep.
Be in control. Make it work.
Yep.
Build a business.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. That sums it up.
Well, I'm actually a mechanic by trade.
Oh wow!
So
No shit.
There you go.
Yeah,
Really? I didn't know
I
that.
did a mechanic apprenticeship.
Oh, cool.
Way back when. So I was a mechanic, and then I went from being a mechanic to a service advisor
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
a fairly high-end car company,
Yep.
dealing with hard to deal with customers that drive expensive cars.
Right.
Lovely.
There'll be a few of them.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so as part of that, I got a passion for keeping these hard to please customers happy.
Right.
So you were primed, ready to go for your own business. If you could make them happy, you can make anyone happy, I would assume.
Pretty much, at the time I didn't realise, but now I do, where you try and explain a $12,000 brake and rotor bill to a customer,
Yep.
and there's two types of customers that drive those cars: the people that can afford them and the people that can't.
Could look like they want to afford it, but
Do they make an aftermarket version with the Hyundai brake pads fit on my Ferrari? Unfortunately not, sir.
I found this. I found it on Kogan. This this road.
Oh,
Do you
dear.
price match?
So it was that bad, was it?
In some instances
Yep.
it was, but pretty much any one of those customers you can keep happy one way or another.
Yep.
And that's what I learnt back then, is that a lot of these customers, they wouldn't even, in some instances they wouldn't even know what a certain part of their car was. They just know that they've got this bill to pay.
Right.
So explaining it to them, why, how, when, and then getting a kick out of keeping those type of customers
Keeping them happy.
and
Yeah.
coming back, and ultimately buying another high-end car.
So that practice then obviously has worked very well for you in this industry, because you've grown quite quickly in 12 years. You were just saying the other day that you saw how many regos did you have? 12? No? How many regos?
14, I think.
14 regos.
14 regos.
Look at that. So grown more
makes
than
me sick
one
thinking
car a
about that.
year. If you think about it that way.
One
That's
car.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
All bloody nice cars too. I
they
have to
are.
say.
And they've all got their little private number plates. You seen that?
Yeah, like All Data, and then like All Data with like two I's and
Yeah,
one with
ones
like a
and
four
L's
as
and
an A.
I know.
So freaking cool.
Someone's addicted to license plates, I
Some
think.
people have drug problems. I get a number plate problem.
Number plate, bro. So you went into, started as a mechanic, then went into, was it customer, there's like a service?
Customer service,
Service, yeah.
basically where you come and book your car in. And
Yeah. So where did the data and communications start up? Like, when did that come on? Because
it's really,
that
really
kind of,
interesting, actually.
yeah. Okay. Well,
So
what's the story?
One day I had just bought my first house. I was 22.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
And,
That's early. Jaden.
I'm embarrassed. Can you stop bringing up my lack of house ownership?
Yeah, he's been schooled on another podcast, so I'm giving the house buying eyes.
Probably at the time a house I could only just barely afford on the wage that I was on, and a couple of things happened in the business, and I basically walked out, and I cracked the shits, walked out, and got out to the end of the driveway and thought, shit, What am I going to do?
Figure it out.
And so I went and worked in a sheet metal factory with all sorts of interesting people, and I was going backwards. I wasn't paying the bills, and one of my mates called me and said, "Do you want to come and help me run some data cable at a job? I need a hand."
Yep.
And the money was good, and it seemed almost too good.
Yep.
On a fairly decent job site, so just started off giving him a hand, pulling cables around, and that's pretty much where I started. So started on a job site with a really good mate of mine, and then worked for that company for 3-4 years, and then decided to come and do my own thing.
Do your own thing.
There you go.
All by just happenstance, isn't it?
Yeah. So, get a house, get in debt,
Yeah.
pay the bills, and then jump into a business and run your own business.
Yep.
Brave man. But it's all worked out very well for you, though.
Yeah, it's working out. Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you've got a team of how many people now? We was talking about
13,
14 people.
Yep.
All
awesome,
running cable. You
awesome people too.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we got to see some stuff behind the scenes, didn't we, Jaden? Like, it's not just data cable. There was fiber optic and these fancy machines. And
Computer monitors.
there was the monitors in his office.
God, that's
Drool.
like a freaking Tony Stark.
I know.
there.
It's like a control room. It's amazing. So, I mean, you obviously have done small projects and you've done some pretty big projects. Like, you don't just run the odd, those typical blue cables that you see laying around, in houses, or you do that, but you also do some pretty big fiber stuff for big office blocks as well, don't you? It's not just the little stuff.
Yeah, fiber, data, electrical, security, a little bit of custom-made switchboards, and basically whatever the customer wants.
Pretty much everything.
Yep.
So if the customer needs it, you'll figure out how to do it.
As long as they can pay the bill.
As long as they can pay the bill.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So you've got all these guys running around in all these trucks, and what's a typical day look like at All Data when you turn up at work?
Most of my guys start on site, so it's just the office. Been spending a lot of time in the office. I do get out to site, but most of the guys start on site. We've got at the moment we've got a big construction job on, so they'll start on site at 6 a.m. Do their toolbox meetings and do their safety stuff and get stuck into it.
Yep.
And then we've got other sites where it might be service jobs or whatever it might be. It all gets organised most of the time pretty well, and the boys just go and do their thing and come home.
So one thing that we've seen, Jaden, haven't we, is like these guys are doing pretty good in capturing content. Like, one of the things on this show is that, businesses that are adapting to sort of more digital and digital marketing, that type of thing, you're starting to really embrace that. You've identified, hey, look, I need to get myself out there and start producing some pretty cool stuff. I mean, we saw, you were saying like you put a post up on LinkedIn that's just going gangbusters, and it's just a simple, nice video, all these cables running through an office block. So what sort of, did you sort of decide at that point? You were like, right, this is what I need to do.
It was funny. We opened up a group Facebook chat, and it was more just for internal, what I wanted, because we all take pride in what we do. So I got the guys to start sharing what they were doing each day, because we're on separate job sites, and it's good to show each other what we're doing. And then it became a bit of a not a competition, but guys being proud of what they do. So put their photos up and have a chat, and Friday afternoon they might be having a beer, at home, and we'll have a chat with each other and talk about the day. Get the odd 2 a.m. message on the Facebook Messenger as well.
Yeah,
but ultimately, without knowing, we're capturing content.
Yeah,
and that content now streams back 12 months, 2 years. So the one thing that I recognise is that we're doing all this great work and all this great quality and making customers happy, but no one sees it.
No one knows about it.
Knows about it, yeah. And people don't understand, do they? Exactly. I mean, they can look at a company name and go, yep, that's a company name, but is that the right fit for me? Do they do what I want to do? So the big thing there is to be able to share that type of stuff, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so there's no use being proud of it unless you can show the world, I guess. It's something that I'm not necessarily. I'm a bit of an introvert, so I don't, like to be on camera or.
Sorry, you and me both, and we're sitting here in a podcast room with 3 cameras staring at us.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite comfortable as well. Like, I got to know you guys, and just feel comfortable, so it's fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Dan, tell me, like, you've started up this business, you're going gangbusters, you got all these big jobs happening, you're competing with some big guys around town. But you've said to me, like, none of that matters unless the customer service is right. I mean, you're really passionate about that, and you've even got a logo, a little slogan on your shirt. What does that say, Jaden?
Maintain integrity.
Isn't that cool?
That's
like, for a company to go, do you know what? I'm going to put this on every single shirt and go, do you know what? Everyone has to live by this. So, like, a lot of people don't focus on customer service as their priority. It's usually always about profits and money and budgets and that type of thing. But you've gone the other way. It's like, no, we've got to make the customers happy. Like, what made you decide that's my focus, is customers first?
I guess it's back to the other conversation we're having about being a mechanic. I got a kick out of keeping the customers happy. That's what I get out of bed for. So it was just a natural thing to keep the customer happy and go out of my way to make sure that they're happy, and also sometimes explain to them why they should be happy. Because sometimes they don't understand
the extra stuff that goes in behind the scenes.
But it's also being able to stand by what you do and admit when you're wrong and fix mistakes and just try and be a good human being, I guess.
That's a good business model. I mean, everyone should be doing that, but it's changed, hasn't it? Like, not every business is doing that. And I think customers now are starting to see through it. They're being able to identify the companies that are in that column and that column.
It's funny because I've actually seen this happen a couple of times before, where at the moment we're in a cycle where it's really price dependent. So it's cheapest price wins.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this about 5 years ago, where the cheapest price wins. And it goes through a cycle. So the customer realizes after a little while, when they take the cheapest price, that they don't actually get the best value for that, and the quality isn't there, and then ultimately they end up paying more, right? So the customer learns over this time period, and then they start to come back around and go, well, we actually want to pay for quality and advice, and the right advice, and they actually see value in maybe the middle of the road pricing, or middle of the road to they see value in what you're pricing when they understand who you are and what you do.
And the long-term effects of what you're producing as well. Like you were saying, that I would rather lay an extra 20 cables and not come back in a year's time to save them money than just say, yep, that's fine, do the cheapest job, and then, hey, I'm going to be back and take advantage of them and charge them again. You kind of do the opposite,
That's how we gain trust with the customer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, because we are in a very wasteful society now, aren't we, Jaden? Like, you go down to Bunnings, you buy the cheapest bloody power tool, and you're going back there twice a year buying the same tools. I think people now, what you were saying, they're kind of identified now. Do you know what? It's not worth my time. Instead of buying the cheaper, I don't know what they call it, Ozzo, whatever brand, they're going and buying the Robies and the. And
you're always going to have people that do that.
Yeah,
I do that in certain circumstances, but we want to work for the people that understand.
Yeah, they get it. You're educating them about what the product is, not just delivering that and moving on and giving them the bill.
Yeah, and we ultimately, that's what we get out of bed for, is to give them the right product for the right price and charge a fair price for what we do.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
So I was talking to Dan the other day, right? Because I said, you know what, I might need to consider, some cameras and stuff. Yeah. And he was saying, all right, before you do that, you need to get this and this and this. Don't fall into the trap and going for that cheap particular brand. We can do this, this, and this. So it's about future-proofing that customer. So it's not about getting that customer back, or having a customer complain about the job because they've asked for that job. You're saying, hey, just stop. I don't want you to complain. This is what you need. Let's make this, the right thing. So with security cameras, obviously, are you seeing an uptick in that at the moment?
Yeah, it's probably the biggest growing part of my business is the security side of things.
Yeah, right.
Why do you think that is? Like, are people just not secure at the moment during this sort of uncertain time, or are people just a little bit more conscious about being more online and they can see their house, they can see people delivering stuff, or?
I think it's a little bit of everything.
Yep.
There is a bit more of a focus on security, general security. But we also have some good security techs that when they're on site, they might explain to a customer the A, B, and C reasons and actually create their own work. And and the security market is evolving. There's lots of really cool stuff that's coming out and that you can do and that can save people time and money, and the analytics that are behind some of these cameras and systems are really, really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the technology change myself, but you've got you've got your Bunnings and that type of thing that sell, kits these days that, anyone can get. But then, there's cameras there that can do all sorts of stuff, like, they can do facial recognition, they can track you, they can turn on and off at certain times.
They can fly around a house now.
They can fly around the house. Yeah.
Flying around the house camera.
Yeah, there's a security drone that Amazon, the company Ring that do the doorbells, have just released or releasing this security drone that sits in your house on charge, and if it detects a break-in, it will come out of its little dock and it will fly around to where the alert is.
Wow.
I know, right?
I didn't even know about that one. Maybe I need to come and get educated.
I'll send you the link. I don't know if it's just a gimmick or whatever, but
I don't know.
I'm sure you'd know about it if it was genuine. Yeah. But
I'm curious, Dan. So between all of the different aspects of your business, I bet there are things that people, like the general public, like myself, because I don't know this space quite well. Like Paul knows quite a bit about computers, and same with my husband. Like he's a techie guy.
He knows all the good stuff.
All that stuff. But do you have any fun facts that the general public wouldn't know about when it comes to like how they might get internet at their house, or like where that comes from, or the process behind that, or like behind installing a security camera, like small little things that people might not know about but would go, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Do you happen to know any of those off the top of your head?
First of all, the roof's hot.
Roof's hot. Yeah.
And the insulation in there's itchy.
Yes, I feel for those guys who do that roof work, because I can't stand the heat myself.
Yeah, especially in summer at the moment.
That's stuff that.
Yeah. Interesting facts.
No pressure. Should we get the timer going?
No, well, I think let's go to our break, and then we'll come back with some fun facts about data and cameras and stuff.
Oh yeah, we'll do a rapid fire.
Yeah,
on Dan. What do you reckon?
Brilliant. Yeah.
I think he'd like that.
I need to go to the toilet and check Google.
Okay. All right. We'll be back in a minute. And welcome to the break. We have an official sponsor, Jaden. Who is that?
Social Cafe, and they have an amazing business model, don't they, Paul?
Absolutely. Basically, Social Cafe source all their beans overseas. It's all socially sourced and responsibly sourced, and they're trained for quality assurance. So when you jump onto socialcafe.site, you're actually ordering and supporting the local roasters as well, because their beans go to a local roaster, so it ensures the freshness and the quality delivered to your door sooner than what you can get anywhere else.
But there's a twist. Hey,
there is a twist.
5% of your order actually goes to the local Rotary Club of your area, doesn't it?
It does. Isn't that amazing?
That's
so they're
so
supporting farms overseas. The quality and freshness is ensured. It then gets shipped to local roasters to help support their business. You get fresh cup of coffee, which tastes bloody awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're supporting the local Rotary Club.
So if you want to feel great about your morning coffee every day, go visit socialcafe.site. Bloody good coffee too.
Awesome coffee. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our little ad. Social Cafe, our official sponsor.
Yes.
How cool is that?
Yeah,
We're still
cool.
Drinking down their coffee. Not today, though. We've got the beers going, don't we?
Yeah. Well, speak for yourself. Huh?
So we were talking to Dan, and we were asking him. We're going to ask him some fun fact questions.
Yes. So take it
So
away,
Dan, Would you like to answer some fun fact questions?
Fun fact question number 1.
Yep.
I'm a bit lost for a fun fact. So
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
I reckon I'm going to phone a friend.
You're going to phone a friend?
Phone a friend.
Yep.
Okay. Like one of your guys that work for you?
Yeah, Toddles.
Toddles.
Yep.
Okay,
Hey.
so we're going to give Toddles a call, are we? Hang on, let me get my phone ready.
Yep.
All right, we'll get this set up.
Yeah, it could be a
All
bit
right.
fun.
Yeah, type in the number there for us, Dan.
Yep.
All right. Toddles.
Toddles. He sounds
cool.
He sounds
Hey,
bloke.
Toddles.
Toddles.
He knows everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
He's just checking the number there.
Do you need
Oh,
your
Toddles.
glasses, mate?
I hope he's not up in a roof getting all itchy with insulation.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that. What the hell are you doing?
He'll be like, what? Who are you?
Okay.
All right, here we
Do
go.
it.
Here we go.
This is
We're ringing.
You've called me.
Hello, Todd speaking.
Hey, Todd, how you going? It's Paul here from Media Me. We've got Dan here in our studio doing a podcast, and he wanted to phone a friend. Are you up for some fun fact questions?
Yeah, no problems.
Okay, so we were talking about security. You want to go?
This is for $50,000, Todd.
50. Oh, hey, this is being recorded. Hang on, we'll get the soundboard going because this is going to be a bit funny. All right, here we go. Okay, all right. So,
No pressure.
no pressure, mate. Are you up for some questions?
Yeah, shoot.
So we were told you're the man that knows pretty much everything about everything security. So what are some fun facts that people may or may not consider when putting in a security system?
Well, when it comes to your home and your residential, like a lot of people call it a house, but at the end of the day, it's your home. You've got to take into consideration that at night time, if you went around and locked all your doors and windows before you go to bed, you feel secure. Well, with the security side of things, you need to be able to understand how your security is set up and how it's going to work for you. And everyone's going to be different. So you've got a couple of key factors. One is the cameras, and they can be very useful if placed in the right locations and also doing what you're expecting them to do. So you want to find a pathway in and a pathway out, and obviously catch the perpetrator in more than one camera. The other thing too is with your security system, you need to make sure that you're covering all your general areas. That if somebody was to break in and they were to walk out of a certain room, they would get caught and so forth and so on. But there's also an environmental security thing.
What's
And
that?
this is environmental security is about what's around your home, hence high fences, bush shrubs, trees, natural lighting, and then obviously if you require additional lighting. And what I mean by environmental, prime example is when somebody's trying to break into your property, if they can hide behind a shrub and sit there for a period of time to break into that property, they will do. And if you can't see them or somebody can't see them from the street and they've got a hidey hole to work with, they will most possibly break through that area. So you've got to look at the factors of shrubs in the front windows and so forth. It's a great way to have some privacy, but it's also a great way for somebody to hide behind it and take their time to break into your property. So trimming up trees and branches and shrubs and so forth, and really clearing some areas. So if somebody was to break into your property and they're on your property, they're pretty much visible to people walking by, possibly, or they're visible to the next door neighbour seeing them as well. That will actually reduce how long they have to try to break into your property. And 9 times out of 10, they won't be able to break into your property because somebody may see them and so forth. So,
That's a very good point.
lighting.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people, like I'll give an example. A customer a long time ago, unfortunately, his wife had passed away, and while he was at the funeral, somebody broke into his back door and ripped everything out of his house.
Oh,
Now, the guy actually removed the entire door frame. So I've never seen anything quite like it, but he had the time to do so because he had an area where he could hide and spend. It would have taken him at least half an hour or more to remove that door frame.
And no one knew he was there.
Yeah, exactly, the whole time. So what we did with him, with our client, for instance, when we put the cameras in, obviously we made sure we covered that area, but we also made sure that the shrub that was, it was a double-story place, and it was a huge tree shrub, and from the street you couldn't see there. So what we did is we did some trimming back on that tree, so then there were certain pockets in certain areas that you look up, you could see them, but it still gave them a bit of privacy as well. And it turned out that several weeks later, somebody came back, not knowing if it's the same person, of course, but they did come back, and somebody did see him, somebody did call the police, and then we had him on camera as well. So it was a successful thing in the fact that we did catch somebody trying to break it in a second time.
Wow.
And in a lot of cases, it usually is the same person coming back because they've had a good hit. So they wait a couple of weeks. And
that reminds me of another story, actually, Todd. The one that the light beam on the driveway.
Yep. Yeah. Well, this is it. Like, people don't realise that a lot of people will wait. Once they break into your place, if they've been successful and got away with it, they'll wait a couple of weeks, if not a month, until your insurance has covered you, and you've gotten all new stuff again, and then they'll come and hit you again.
Wow.
And this.
So they're really trying to just suss out the easy way in, easy way out. And if you give them no option, then they just won't even look at that place. They'll just move on to the next one.
Oh, yeah, in a lot of cases, 100%. You know, if they're just randomly picking places, that's what they'll be looking for is, you know, whether you got any type of security or whether it's a fake camera. You know, fake cameras are all well and good, but you can pick them from a mile away. And these guys know what they're looking for. So, you know, these are the sort of things that you got to look at. And you can do it in a way that keep it simple, stupid is the old terminology. Well, that's the best way to go when it comes to your security. You know, access to your property and coming out of your property. If we can, you know, structure something that you can view all those options. A lot of times these people are known to the police. So with that footage, they usually match it with other footages from other locations that have been very good in that area. And they tend to, you know, have an idea who the person is. And it all helps at the end of the day. So a bit like neighbourhood watch, really, at the end of the day. That's what the cameras do for you. They record it and give you some sort of options to pass over. But you've got to be very smart in your selection of what you're using. Yeah. And if you don't know, have a chat with somebody that's in the industry that does this every day, because there are certain products out there that you wouldn't use because the clarity is not very nice. And then there's other products you'd use every day long. And it doesn't mean it has to be $1 million either.
Well, that's a really good point because, I mean, you're kind of drawing the line there between something which is a deterrent, you know, which is bad quality that can't take that perpetrator off the streets. And then you've got something that's giving their, you know, the police, you know, the best quality, the best angles to be able to say, look, you know, we can apprehend this person and actually move them on. So that's, that's really, really cool. Geez, we've got another caller coming in. Sorry, caller number two. No, that's all right. We'll decline that one. There we go. So thank you very much for that, Todd. That was really enlightening. I think, you know, I don't think many people you know, think about the environmental part, but yeah, you know, less cameras by just cutting down the shrub and making sure you can expose the people, you know, looking at your place. That's really, really cool.
Yeah. And also, too, you don't want your home to look like a fortress, but at the same time, too, you know, you want them to be visible. But, you know, a lot of customers say to me, you know, I want the cameras up. I don't want to look like this. I don't want it to look like Fort Knox and that. I still want to have my home presented and that. And there's ways of doing that and doing it smartly. So every time, I suppose, we look at a home, and that's what we call it ourselves because we have our own homes. You know, we're looking at what's going to be best for the client in the sense of they're going to get what they need to get, feel confident and feel safe, feel in control of the situation as well. And then on top of that too, an end product that delivers results but also doesn't take away their nice physique of their home and stuff. So there's a lot of factors involved and it's really simple steps to cover these sort of things. But the environmental security is, you know, no one's really spoken about it. I know for a fact that certain police forces use that term and they actually have special officers that do these sort of things, go around and give advice on how to sort of clean up and that. So I suppose in a way we do the same because of the backgrounds that we have to allow more clients access to that.
That's awesome. So the moral of the story there is call the experts first. Don't go down to your local hardware store and think that you're going to be able to put some cameras in your, you know, home or office and think that it's going to do a good job. So that was really, really, really cool. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd,
for joining us.
Not a problem, guys.
Yeah, Dan's used up his last lifeline, I think. So we're gonna leave it there with you, and we might hit him with one more question because he's out of lifelines now. So he's done. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
All right. Bye.
Oh, wasn't that cool, Jaden?
That was very cool. That's the first time we used that.
Yeah, phone a friend.
Bloody hell.
He's full of knowledge, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wow. So there you go.
he's
Just
pretty
another
passionate.
reason. Yeah, just another reason to call the right people and ask them, it might cost you a bit more in the long run, like we were saying, but there's no point in doing a half-assed job and then it not doing what you want to do anyway.
Exactly, in case some bloke decides to take the bloody door off your
Yeah,
frame.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought about the environmental part of it?
Sometimes
People.
you just don't know what you don't know.
No, that's
Exactly.
right.
I think that we should end on one last story, Dan. So, out of your whole career, mate, what was the one customer service related story that happened with a client that has kind of stuck with you? Like one thing that may have happened or something like that like always springs to mind when you think about why it's so important.
Yeah, there's a couple actually. So there's a couple of really good learnings that I've had through the years.
Yeah.
One that springs to mind straight away was a job I got. I think it was on Christmas Eve, and it was, can you please come into town? And I don't know why they're asking this on Christmas Eve, but can you please come and check a data outlet that's not working in a workstation? Reluctantly, I was battling in my head all the way in there. Why the hell am I?
Of course, yeah.
Why, so we get in there and we fix the data outlet, and that conversation turned into a whole office fit out for that customer.
Really?
From a shitty little, $90 job, and it just reaffirmed to me that and that's what business is like. Yeah, if you're not going to put the work in, you're not going to get the results. So, a little $90 job turned into many thousands of dollars work.
That's amazing.
Because you were the guy that turned up. And
Yeah,
how many
pretty much.
people would they have called and go, nah, not working, nah, can't help you.
No,
and you were the one that went, you know what, all right.
Yep.
And it turned into some future business and obviously a good working relationship, and obviously that story stuck with you.
Yeah, and a really
you
good
still know
learning
them?
for me too. No, I don't have them actually, because funnily enough,
Yep.
they were a very high profile debt collecting agency
Oh.
that didn't want to pay their bill.
No.
Oh,
So in actual fact, I rang them up.
I didn't see that one
This is
coming, did you, Jaden?
I actually rang them up and asked them if I could employ their services to chase after a bill that I had outstanding.
Okay.
So, and which they, of course, they engaged until I told them the customer that they were chasing after, which was themselves.
what do they say? Or they just go crickets?
They paid in the end, but
Of course,
it was-
They wouldn't want the debt collector, would they? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, that was awesome.
Dan. This
No
has
worries.
been and with Todd as well. Pass out
Todd,
thanks
Toddles.
Yep.
to Todd. I'm sure that some people at home have gotten the same amount of enlightenment as we
Yep.
did when it came to like environmental
Security. That's
and
a
how
thing.
things like cameras can still not take away from your street presence. So it's
Yep.
not like they
Yeah.
obviously must have something.
Stylish cameras sitting there doing their job.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an awesome little tip.
Yeah. Yep.
One of many I'm sure we're going to hear in the future. So yeah,
Exactly.
thanks
Yeah.
very much, mate. Yeah, it's been
Thanks,
awesome.
boys.
Okay,
Yep.
cheers.
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 Oh, my bottle's empty.
Cheers
right.
to myself.